And really, we don't know how we affect others unless
No.
they tell us. So, um,
Oh,
but the support that you offer, it's just beyond anything that I've ever experienced.
no. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. And just that cheerleader of the the keys, the lone pine, the labyrinth, again, all of that has just been an umbrella of a continuum of doing the work. And I haven't done all the work, right? I haven't done every single one of
Yeah.
your things.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm still collecting. I'm
Yeah.
collecting collecting the butterflies in the little jar, right?
Well, and you've done what you were meant to do for now. That's, you got to listen to your unfolding and what's right and what piques you and what's like where you're led and what your
Yes.
timing is. And it's a little bit different for everyone.
And that's a good point too, because we are meant to step out into the world with our own work, not
Yeah.
just copy and paste what other people are doing.
Oh my
And
God. Yes. I
through the actual living is really the only way that we can find the work, because that's when we can recognize that trust that you had talked about early on,
Yeah.
and the uncovering of who it is that we are, what it is that we really want, and how we deal with disappointment or change or shifts or the things that come along, and where we can refine as individuals within ourselves, and bring to light our gifts and talents.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I just see
100%.
I see it as this whole support system, you just land there and there you are. There you are. I'm
Well,
there. I'm there visually, like I can see it. I am literally there.
I, I am surrounded by beautiful light workers. And I 100% agree that, I mean, we weren't meant to have it easy. We were meant to become leading edge creators so that we could hold space for others to do the same and to find I mean, to find your light, to find your medicine, to find your own voice, to find what it specifically is for you to bring forth to have that land, because that is evolution. That is evolution. That's this is just like a little we're cultivating ourselves all the time in terms of like our missions in the world. I love seeing and hearing about what you're doing in the world, and how you've taken bold leaps to evolve yourself and to teach others to do the same. It's powerful
Thank
stuff.
you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, since I mentioned fear within myself, this question is kind of for me, right? So how do you make decisions from your future self instead of your fear? How can we really have that relationship with fear, that awareness of fear and what it's doing or stopping? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are really afraid
Yeah.
to maybe do 100 videos, right? Or to offer a summit. Scary.
Yeah.
Can be.
Yeah. You know, I talk a lot about the goddess observation deck, right? Because I'm really good at rising energy. And I have my reasons why I'm good at it and reasons why I think it helps out. But as it relates to fear, I mean, you can honor your fear and observe it at the same time, goddess observation deck style. I mean, in your mind's eye, you just walk up that staircase, get on the deck, and say, "Oh, I am the in the observation." And I don't want to oversimplify this, but sometimes I just like to simplify things
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, there's my fear. I'm going to walk up the staircase, get on the goddess observation deck. I am now the observer of myself. look what my mind is doing. Oh, look what I've got going in the cells of my body. Look what the things that are stuck in my auric field. I've got some fear going on. Let me hold that part of me that feels that, because we want to push it away. And I think that when we observe it and hold it and nurture it and give it what it needs, and you give it the time it needs to move through you, I think it doesn't need to hang out, because you hear in Goddess Observation Deck, you hear in your highest self rising above the things that hold you back, make that part of you safe. You get to be safe in that little, I'm going to go up the stairs, sit on the goddess. Look at me. I want to do 100. I was terrified to do the 100 videos every day for a little while, till day 50 at
Good to
least.
hear that. It's good to hear that because I saw the confidence. I did. I saw so much confidence and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's good to hear that.
So it's like it's not feel the fear and do it anyway. It's see the fear, hold the fear, love the fear. Notice where you're lodging it in your body and let it move through. And
Yeah.
then your future self, can I make a decision from who I want to become? That's future self work. Is this a vibrational match to the future I want to create? Is this a vibrational match to the future I want to be, or the future self I want to be? There's a decision that gets to be made there. I mean, and like, it's never for me, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's never any of that. It's nurture that fear, observe that fear, hold that fear absolutely dear, and say, I've got you. And I'm going to rise above it so that I can be strong enough to take care of that part of myself. And that's why self love is so important. I mean, you're not going to be able to handle fear in your life or rise above anything unless you are loving yourself, unless you're holding yourself dear, unless you are being in the embodiment of true self love and appreciation, unless you're actually activating that frequency. That's why it's unwavering divine worthiness, right? In the cusp
Yes.
equation. It's because your power actually lives there. So I'm a fan. I always say a lot of people come to the work and say, you've got to heal all the things before you can manifest the love of your life, or that you can manifest whatever. And none of that is true. It's not even true at all. You have to step into you have to rise, love yourself enough to rise. And then when the things come up, we deal. I have stuff come up often, and it doesn't have power over me because I know that I'm on my goddess observation deck. So for me, making the decision is it's just that it's a decision, which that's energy work. And it's
It takes a second. It takes 1 second to
yeah,
walk up the steps, right?
yeah,
Walk up the steps. That's all I need to do is walk up the steps, bring in awareness of what's happening.
right,
And oftentimes the trigger goes away when we have this larger, more expansive view of what is actually happening.
right. And the minute that you say, oh, I see you, it does not hold power over you. The minute that you speak it, the minute that you let it be revealed, the minute you unpack something, kind of the power of coaching, it's like the minute you get to the depths of like unpacking something just to be revealed and not have it hold power over you, it's like, what's left over? I don't know, my clarity. I don't know, my higher vibration. I don't know. I could probably make that video even though that fear is still trying to protect me, because I'm trying to protect from all of the fear of rejection that I have. Because what is fear really? It's mostly fear of rejection
Yes,
in that case.
sure.
Um, but all of a sudden we're like, I can separate myself enough from it in the observation of it to see who I am without it for a second, and then nurture the part of me that needs nurturing. People want to push it down or push it away or make it go, you know, pretend it doesn't exist. What was I going to say? Make it go somewhere. I don't know. Like,
It's true. It is true. There are things, there are avoidance patterns that, there's different things that we carry.
oh
And
yeah,
so everyone has their coping mechanism that says stop.
yeah,
I don't know enough.
not safe.
Yes, I don't feel safe. And
Yeah,
and that's really how our brain works. If we don't have safety, we're not going to get to language. We're not going to get to a place where we can actually solve our problems. But oftentimes we are just frozen in fear, um, because of the experiences that we had before that.
yeah.
And
What's on your?
I love just reminding people that there are other ways. There are
Yeah.
other ways. And for a long time, I told Lori earlier that I just kept her to myself. I didn't share any of this stuff. I think I shared a butterfly experiment with one other person. And I remember, it was dead of winter. I live in Idaho, so we had snow and rain, and there's not a flower on a bush anywhere. And we would check in with each other. We worked together, and she would say, "Oh, did you see a butterfly today?" And I'm like, "No." "Did you?" And she's like, "No." And then one day she came in. I still hadn't seen any butterflies. And she said, "I saw a butterfly today." And I said, "What? Like where?" And I'm thinking, is there some bush that has flowers somewhere? And she said it was on the side of a truck. And I literally was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I am thinking way too small here. I have to think bigger. And then all of a sudden it flooded in because that awareness, honestly, I was on that goddess observation deck, wasn't I? When I had that
Yes.
realization.
Yes. Yes. Observer, you're observing yourself playing small with a vision that is just like this when you're like, oh my gosh, it could be like this. Wait a minute. Let me open
Yes.
up.
Yes.
Even when you talk about it, I think to myself, oh my gosh, like people will come to the butterfly experiment and they'll be like, well, what? I this is manifesting butterflies. I'm like, yeah, it's one of the most magical courses I've ever created. And it was in 2007, but that's why I said it was one of the most powerful seasons for me of change, but your ego doesn't have, so here's the magic. And I just want to like I want to say this for the people who heard, oh, I don't really need to manifest a butterfly, until you realize that you are the butterfly, and until you realize that everything that you want is on the other side of knowing and really deeply understanding how to manifest a butterfly. Honest to God, it is that magical and that profound, and has nothing to do with how simple it looks on the outside. It's like saying, well, I don't need my ABCs when I have all this language available to me here. The ABCs, that's too simplified. But then you're like, but what we create from this is an entire language.
Yes.
Many languages come from these 26 letters, these 26 sounds. So you got up on that observation deck and
All of the
said,
resistance went away.
right, that's all frequency. It's all energy work. We're shifting around concepts and pillars and, you know, stacks and sequences. But at the end of the day, it's we're organizing energy. We're taking certain letters and forming a word. And that's what it is. It's I never thought about it that way before, but it's very similar, you know? So what are you working on? I have to ask you, I'm like, what are you working on right now? Like the coach in me is like, what do you got going on that you're afraid of? I got to know.
Oh, that
Like,
I'm
what's your
afraid of?
fear?
Oh gosh, yeah.
What's your fear?
Well,
What's got you?
honestly, gosh, I'm a grandmother now, and so it's finding that balance between business ownership, life coaching, and grandchildren and responsibilities at home. And
Right.
so what I'm working on right now is, and I'm just being very vulnerable, very honest, is how can I have these pieces to my meditation area on my property because that's really where this had all started was I have all this property. How can I create a place of peace? And
Hmm.
so I discovered the lone pine and it was interesting how these things happen because I remember that we had a fence. We had all these other trees there. We had an old boat that was left by the person who lived there before. And there were these bushes that blocked the sunset or the sun, yeah, the sunsets. And as I was doing this work, all of these things started to go away, like the boat, they put in a local bar as the bar in their restaurant. And so that went away and then we tore the fence down, we cleaned up the trees, we dug out the bushes so we could actually really see the sunset.
Mm.
And then what was left was the lone pine. And I remember you saying, well, Janae, you are the lone pine. Like that is you. It's a reflection of me looking at myself that here I am standing in my power as a conscious creator because I did the work and all those other things fell away. And then I did create a little circle. I wanted a little patio, so I have this little circle that's out there that is just it's just magical. It's just magical. And then through meditation, through life experiences, the labyrinth had come and that piece of property down there, I had thought what am I going to do here? I'd love to make it a barbecue area because we have a creek that runs through our property. And I thought, gosh, that would be great. But my husband's like, no, it's too far away from the kitchen. I don't want to hike all the way down there and cook and blah, blah, blah. So, again, what was it? Beach or mountains, right?
Features now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just weren't on the same page, but through a very, very difficult experience in Colorado, I there was a labyrinth. I was in Estes Park, Colorado, at the YMCA doing a yoga retreat for my accreditation for yoga therapy,
Mm.
and there was this event had happened there, and my solace was to go to this labyrinth, and the labyrinth mine is a 40-foot labyrinth. This one was like 3 times as big as mine. I mean, it's huge. And sometimes I would go and there would be elk on the labyrinth. And I was like, well, I can't walk it, but I'm just going to watch these elk, these
Wow.
majestic animals. And it was in October, so they had a little bit of snow still and green trying to peek through, or well,
Yeah.
everything was kind of going away. But it was beautiful. And so through my meditation of the labyrinth that I did with Debbie Collins, and then through just that same trip, I found a labyrinth in Denver, Colorado that Mark and I walked, and that one actually had a lone pine tree there. I said, it has a lone pine here. I thought, what the heck? And then through
Right.
my this big experience that had happened and just the
Wow.
solace that that brought me, that's what got me to create the the Albion Prayer Path is what I call it.
Wow.
And everything, this is the magical thing with that is that everything has been donated. Every single rock, every single bush that is there, everything has been donated. We have trees. I just said, hey, I need to plant a pine
That's,
tree here because you can't really see the lone pine from the labyrinth.
yeah.
So I wanted a little representation. And so really my dream is, how can I fulfill that? What more can I offer? And what little creative juices do I have left in me to really create an experience there that that people can experience? And
Yeah.
and people that do come, oftentimes I had one person that came out to look at the lone pine. She says, I have to see the lone pine. I just have to see the lone pine.
Right.
So we walk out there and she's like, that's it? Because it's just a tree out there. And
Yeah.
she's holding her camera and she's like, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So I stood behind her. I said, well, stand over here. And I took her camera and just kind of went like this. I was behind her. And she's like, that's it. And then she clicks the picture. And so it,
Oh,
it is my creation. That is my creation, but it is there for others to enjoy and to experience. And
so now it's like, how do I offer this beautiful opportunity or this beautiful energy that lives right here? How do I open that in a way that fulfills some purpose that you have as it relates to that specific unfolding?
I need to stand on the cusp, on the
Hmm.
threshold. That's what I need to do.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, who won't want to go there? What do you mean? Isn't that funny though, how easy it is to see? I'm
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, that's sacred ground.
Hmm. It is sacred ground because every piece came from
What if that
a,
is the cusp?
it is, you're right. It is. It is the cusp. And so
Yeah.
I have to get out of my own way
Yeah.
and I have to let some things go
Yeah.
because I have energies scattered through in 100 different things. So
Yeah.
it's really getting centered. It is standing on that threshold and really looking at, okay, what do I need to dip my toe in the water with next so that I can fulfill more here?
Right. Right. And balance life too.
Hmm.
So,
Yes, because my grandchildren, they've never walked the labyrinth because it is right next to a creek. And so I currently have a fence that blocks that off so that they can't get through there.
yeah.
But there is a little pathway that goes down. And they've
Oh,
been walking that pathway for years. And I've never pointed out the labyrinth to them. I just say, let's go down to the labyrinth. And then they walk the path. And one day, one of my grandchildren said, wow, Grandma, I always thought that this path was the labyrinth. She's 4.5 now. And because she saw the rock, she's like, well, what's that? And I said, well, that's the labyrinth. I always thought that this was the labyrinth. This was the path. Now talk about standing on the cusp,
right.
right? She was standing on the cusp. Her awareness
Yes, she was.
just was like, well, what is this? What is this?
What is possible here?
Yes. And it's that curiosity and
Open
that
hearted. Ah,
so much, so much. And so, yeah. So that's what I'm working on currently. That
yeah.
is what's next.
Yeah, we think it needs to be a certain way and a certain this, and I like that, and I can't pay it.
I have to get out of my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm working
And
on.
walk that labyrinth with your grandbabies.
I can't wait to. I think I walked part of it with one of them when they were really little, when a relative was there and but then
Yeah.
he wanted to get down and so we just kind of left. But I believe that there will be a day. And also I do believe in different energetic levels that there are people that maybe are passed on or in different areas or that maybe have watched because I will record a walking. I'll say, walk with me, and I'll just record the walk. And so they're walking it in their mind as well, just like the meditation that I did. And it took me to a place that was extremely
Mm,
impactful. It was one of the most impactful things that had happened. And
wow.
so I actually found myself in my mother's womb as an egg when I got to the center,
Wow.
and I was sending out healing to my mother. I
Wow.
mean, it was so impactful, and it's all on video too. We had recorded this. It's on my
Wow.
YouTube channel, and so I just was like, this is so weird, and I had never walked a labyrinth before, so that was my first. My second one was the one that had the lone pine, and then the third
Yeah.
one was just that solace that I felt, a place to go, a place to land. that brought me the peace that I needed to get through the experience that was happening to me because
Wow.
I couldn't leave. I was in a different state and, I couldn't, I could have left, but I chose not to leave. And but I needed that solace. And so
It's like, I always like to ask the question, what's this a vibrational match to? Am is this a match? Is that a match? I'm always like looking for matches, It's like granimals, you know what I mean? Does this
I love
match?
this. I love this. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so even as you talk about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, feel the ascension in that, feel the awakening in that, feel the field shift because of these experiences. And I mean, it's such a match to the divine intelligence of synchronicity as you even talk about it. It's such a match to the quantum field as you are on it. Sometimes I have this analogy where I'm just like, one of the things I liked, one of my, I have lots of Lordisms. I say, remember who you are, where you are, and what time it is, right? Your divine crystalline, creator standing on this magnificent field of consciousness. Remember where you are. And when you touch your toe out on that field of consciousness, it's like the field shimmers. And it's so very like literal with this path that you created. And you know what? I'm remembering right now that you inspired me to write something about that, about the labyrinth. A
Yes.
couple years ago, a year or two ago, I wrote some.
Yes.
I don't
You
remember what I
did.
said
I think you
anymore.
did. I think you did a training or something on it or some sort of something. And
I said
you
life is a
and
labyrinth.
it was so lovely because it was almost like you were asking my permission, and I was like, wow, she's just such a lovely human. And of course, but
I
I think that I have been very open with you about my experiences, and they have been deeply transformational. I mean,
it's such
deeply
beautiful.
transformational. And I have them over and over and over again. I don't ever want to lose that. I want to continue to be in that conscious state of creation.
Well, and that is a choice. That is a choice because because it's like we toggle back over to humanity. We toggle back over to disempowerment. We toggle back over to, and so it is that conscious choice of making, it's almost like a vibrational habit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it's a whole new operating system. It's like I'm going to
Yes.
just take out the operating system and install another one, and it's the one that serves me in the highest. When I sent that
And the
article,
manifestation, oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
when I sent that article, I think
Yeah.
it was just a download.
Was it?
It was not program related. It was
Oh,
just I sent off a download that I had about life being a labyrinth,
okay. Yeah. However
interchange,
you say
potato,
it doesn't, I
potato,
think it
potato.
depends
I go
on our
both ways.
accent. Yes.
I go both ways. Potato, potato.
I call it a prayer path too. So
Labyrinth.
yes,
Um,
whatever. However, I know what you mean.
but I literally thought to myself, oh my God, I have to send this to Janae. And it was like this random download that I just shared. And it might have been connected with something that I had brewing, but it wasn't connected to actually that. It was just, you just inspired me from the place you stand, from the frequency that you hold, from
I'll have to,
the
yeah,
gift that you share. You
we'll
inspired
have
me
to
from,
find it.
yes.
We'll have to find it so we can link it underneath here if
Link
you
it
want.
underneath here.
If you
Yes.
want to, would you be
I would love
willing
it.
to look for
Of
that?
course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Life is a labyrinth is
Yes.
the title of it. And it was just a one shot out in the world somewhere. Because, of
Okay.
course, I don't have a blog. I should.
Well, again, we can't do everything,
Right.
right? And that's the other part is that I am definitely a generator. So I have all these ideas, all of these things, and a lot
Yeah.
of them don't ever really go anywhere because I just don't have my physical body and the time restraint that
Yeah.
I have of my 24 hours of the day.
Yes.
It just doesn't contain it all. But
Yeah.
to me, that is even more spectacular, that really
Yeah.
we are just scratching the surface of what we really can bring to the world if we really begin to participate in life. And when
Yeah.
we can participate, I think it was Abraham Hicks that said, when you play with nature, nature plays back. And that was
Oh,
such a beautiful quote because when you're manifesting butterflies, it's going to come back. And the butterfly thing, there's no resistance with butterflies. There's
that's
resistance with
it.
the thing that we want, right? Because
That's the
we're
key.
telling ourselves that is the key.
That is
And
the key.
so we find the things that really don't hold the resistance, and
Right.
then our belief system can start to shift, and those new awarenesses come in. And
It's so true. It is. It's like you find because you have to build the proof that it works. Otherwise, you're working with the thing you have resistance on. So you're like, I want to create more money, and you have so much stuff around money and haven't.
yes.
And then, but if you can manifest a butterfly, it has so many good quotes. They said it's as easy to create a castle as a button.
That's right.
Right?
It is
So
so true.
my interpretation, it's as easy to, if you can manifest a butterfly, you can manifest anything, in other words, you know. So, but that's like the journey of the it's the journey back to your power, you
Yes.
know. So you've literally created a really sacred, powerful field with that space. And talking to you today, I'm just like, oh my God, I can just feel it buzzing. It's like so,
And there's so much to it. I mean, I have literally
yeah.
sent Reiki through the waters, those trees that overlook the water. I just imagine the Reiki filled water being soaked up by those trees, and every time the wind blows, the energy just falls on us as we're walking out there. And um, there are as many tears on that land, tears that I've never seen, tears that were there even in the past, than in my esthetician room on that table. There's a lot of tears there too. But I do for myself, it really is looking at the eternal. What is the eternal? The person, the soul underneath the body, like that's who I want to see. Um, no, I don't want to put my own filters on what you might be thinking or what you might be feeling. I need to be brave and ask. I need to be brave and do. I need to learn how to dip my toe in the water, or learn how to manage my nervous system when I am stretched, because there's a lot of times when you just want to give up. And but you're just at the cusp of expansion, right? You're standing at that threshold, and
Decision. You get to make
yes,
a decision
you
what to
get to
do
make a
right there.
decision. Yes. And sometimes it's like I just want to bury my head in the sand.
Depends.
But
Depends.
and
It
a lot
does.
of
I
that
see
has to,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and a lot of it has to do with letting go of the expectation that I might have of how something needs to be or how it needs to look. And just allow it to be what it is for those that experience it, right?
Well, it's magic. So what happens is so individual.
Yeah.
I have we could talk for hours, couldn't we?
That
But
I know.
I have a client who she's a very long time ago, and she does equestrian therapy. And so her clients come for the horses,
Mhm.
but she doesn't know what's in store. There's no like preconceived anything because it's not her shift.
It's beautiful
Same.
and powerful. Like
Yeah.
if you're watching this, rewind and listen to that again, because when we can take ourselves out and
Mhm.
allow what the physical things that we do have, the land, the animals, whatever it is, the medicine, let the medicine do its work.
Yeah.
So, well, so for the woman who is listening, who really feels on the cusp, but terrified. What is
It's
one
the
last
thing.
thing that you would tell her?
Know you are so worthy, born worthy, and make that your mission because your power lies right there before anything else. That's where your power lies. And even if it's I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself just because. I'm going to stand in that and I'm going to activate that even when I don't believe it. Because the thing is, it's not easy. It's not easy to be in worthiness work, but it has the most profound payoff before manifestation, before thinking, getting out of scarcity consciousness, before any of it. It's like the number one frequency. And when you do that, you're really connecting with who you truly are. You're really connecting with your inner being. You're connecting with your high self. You're connecting with your future self. You're connecting with the highest, most luminous, gorgeous version of yourself. And it doesn't take a lot. It takes a choice to just lean, to just go there, to just make you more important than anything else first for once, because we've spent generations not. And so that's goddess work. That's rising work. That's the work of overcoming. That's the work of even, you know, resilience, but it is coming back home to who you are. Even if it is all I did today was to turn my face to the sun in the name of self-love and appreciation. If that's all I did, and then I build upon that and see where it takes me, because that is worth everything. And the rest follows. The rest follows from that point. But we got to be willing to go there. It's a willingness, it's a choice, it's a decision. Even if it's uncomfortable, we got to be willing to go there. I know it might sound cliche, but it's energetic, frequency based, soul based work that you're choosing to live. And if your mind wants to talk you out of it, it's because it's scary. So even though it seems cliche, love yourself today, when we see it as soul work, when we see it differently through the lens it actually is, I am coming back home to myself. Instead of, I got to be on the self love bandwagon. It's the weight that we choose to put on it. Like if you hold it as your most important work that you could ever do for your life, for your future, for your dreams, goals, and your reality, if you hold it as such, then it actually gets the weight it deserves. So soapbox, but you know, I believe deeply.
I love it. I love
I
it.
believe profusely, profoundly and profusely. This is the way.
This
Yeah,
is the way for sure.
it
Well,
is
and
the way.
how can somebody find you? We talked about school, but how else, do you have any other, or do you just want them to go to school? Go to
Well, you
school.
go to school. You can find me at LoriJeanOpal.com. And you can find me in the Cusp community on the school platform. And you can get there from my website as well. So I'm on social media. I sprinkle myself around, but most of the time, if you want my like pointed attention, I'm going to be in school at this point. So, but otherwise, I'm around on Facebook and a little bit on Instagram, but school is where I'm loving to share my energy right now. So
Awesome.
that's how you can find me.
Well, thank you for saying yes to
Oh
this
my goodness. Thank you for having me. This was a joy
Thank
and
you.
beyond wonderful. So, very much love having me here. So,
Thank you, Lori. And thank you all for watching. And please connect. Please connect with Lori. She's amazing.